Brain of Britain, the nationwide general knowledge contest, chaired by Russell Davis.
Hello, how lovely it is to hear applause once again, and how fitting that we should have an audience here in the Radio Theatre in London, albeit a restricted one, for the culmination of our 2021 Brain of Britain series. With me here on the stage are the four contenders who've come triumphantly through heats and semi-finals this year, with just one final hurdle to jump in order to be named the 68th BBC Brain of Britain. And alongside them on the stage sits the gleaming silver trophy that one of them will be taking home at the end of today's proceedings. Let's meet our finalists.
Hello, my name's Alan Hodgson and I'm a part-time customer service assistant from Macclesfield in Cheshire.
Hello, I'm Dave McBRYAN, a writer originally from Dublin but living for many years in Edinburgh.
Hello, I'm Phil Small, a contracts director from Reading in Berkshire.
Hello, my name's KARL WHELAN. I'm a civil servant originally from Liverpool, now living on the Wirral.
Welcome back all, and the very best of luck. The rules are the same as ever, but with the fierce competition for points that's inevitable today, it may be tempting to press your buttons for a bonus just a fraction too early in your eagerness. Remember, we will penalise any jumping of the gun before the question is open or before the first person has had their thinking time. Alphabetically by surname, you go first, Alan Hodgson. Which word can follow the words military, artificial and counter in well-known phrases?
Intelligence.
Yes, of which we hope there's no shortage on display in the next half hour. How many players are there in the pool in a game of water polo?
14.
7 per team, and that's 14, yes indeed. Which American author was awarded the 1993 Nobel Prize for Literature, the first black female writer to receive it?
Maya Angelou?
No. KARL WHELAN?
Toni Morrison.
Is the right answer, yes. And we come to Dave McBRYAN. It was reported in February 2021 that samples of the oldest ancient DNA in the world had been discovered in Siberia, in some teeth preserved by the permafrost. To what creature did the teeth belong?
Mammoth?
It was a mammoth, yes. Panophobia is the abnormal fear of what?
It sounds like everything, but I think that's panto. Let's try everything.
You're right.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It could be panphobia, it could be pantophobia. There are other forms, but panophobia is the one I have here. I think the pan is the important part, as in pandemic, if I may mention that horrible word. In the Peanuts cartoon strip by Charles Schulz, what's the name of the boy who is almost always depicted playing a tiny grand piano and who remains impervious to Lucy's affections?
Schroeder.
Schroeder, yes. Flying Fish Cove is the main port and settlement of which external territory of Australia?
Christmas Island?
Yes, now known as Kirisimasi. The sovereignty of Christmas Island was transferred from Singapore in 1958. In which part of the body might you suffer a rotator cuff injury?
The shoulder.
The shoulder is right, and that's 5 in a row and a bonus point for you. A good way to start, indeed. Phil Small, which English artist created a series of 6 paintings known collectively as Marriage à la Mode?
William Hogarth.
Yes. What were introduced in the 1930s with the slogan, "Our true intent is all for your delight"?
Turkish Delight.
No. Yes, KARL WHELAN.
Butlins.
Yes.
Butlins holiday camps.
Butlins holiday camps is precisely the phrase I have here, the first of which was opened at Skegness in 1936. The line comes from the prologue of the Rude Mechanicals play in Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream, where it's mangled by Peter Quince. KARL WHELAN, your question then. If you took an antitussive medicine, what would you be hoping it would stop you from doing?
Coughing.
Yes. In an American comic book series, which superhero has a pet dog named Crypto?
Superman.
Superman, yes. A Ringelmann chart, which bears grids denoting different gradations of shades of grey, is used to measure what?
Thickness of smoke.
Density of smoke, yes, usually for environmental purposes to check the severity of smoke emissions. How is the character Helen Graham, a widow with a young son, referred to in the title of a novel first published in 1848?
The Tenants of Wildfell Hall.
In the book by Anne Bronte. You're right, yes. The small, rich cake known as a friand is traditionally made using what kind of nut?
Hazelnut.
No. Phil Small.
Almond?
Almond, yes, it's made with almond meal and typically flavoured with fruit. That's the end of the first round. And some scoring went on there to the tune of this. Alan Hodgson and Phil Small, 2 apiece. Dave McBRYAN and KARL WHELAN, 6 apiece. Okay, Alan Hodgson, back to you. Which is the USA's oldest state, having been the first state to ratify the American Constitution?
Delaware.
Yes, the second smallest state in area after Rhode Island. In what way was the 19th century engineer Robert Stevenson, responsible for building many of Scotland's most important lighthouses, related to the writer Robert Louis Stevenson?
Cousin.
No. Dave McBRYAN?
He was his grandfather.
It was his grandfather. Lighthouses were a family business. The writer Robert's father and 2 uncles were also lighthouse builders. And it's Dave McBRYAN's question. In physics, which letter of the Greek alphabet is used as the symbol for wavelength?
Lambda.
Correct. The cover of which 1971 David Bowie album depicting the singer wearing a satin dress was withdrawn for many years but has been restored on more recent reissues?
I should know. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and Spiders from Mars?
Yeah, wasn't that one? No. Phil Small?
Hunky Dory?
No. Alan Hodgson?
Space Oddity.
No. KARL WHELAN?
Aladdin Sane.
No. It was The Man Who Sold the World. Phil Small's question. Extrovert and introvert are terms popularised by which Swiss psychiatrist?
Jung?
Yes, who allegedly preferred the spelling extravert because extrovert, he said, was bad Latin. Philip K. Dick's short story, We Can Remember It For You Wholesale, was the basis for which 1990 science fiction film?
Total Recall.
Starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, remade in 2012 with Colin Farrell. Although he grew up in Bristol, the current Secretary of State for Health, Sajid Javid, represents which Midlands parliamentary constituency?
Solihull?
No. Alan Hodgson?
Bromsgrove.
Is right, yes. KARL WHELAN, which is the highest peak in the Mountains of Mourne?
Slieve Donard.
Yes, it is. In 1524, a man called Mr. Hull in Exeter sent Henry VIII a box of marmalade. Since it came in a box, it was almost certainly a quince paste. From which foreign country?
Portugal.
Yes, marmalade was much favoured later on by Anne Boleyn and her circle. Famous landmarks often make an appearance in the films of Alfred Hitchcock, the Statue of Liberty and the Mount Rushmore Memorial, perhaps most famously. In which of his British films does the Forth Railway Bridge form the background to a crucial scene?
39 Steps.
Yes, a scene in which Richard Hannay, as played by Robert Donat, makes a daring escape from the police on an express train. The word fascist derives from a Latin word fasces, a symbol of authority carried by lictors, or officers of the law, in ancient Rome, adopted by Mussolini in the 1920s. What were those original fasces?
A bundle of rods. Sticks, bundle of sticks.
Yes. There was an axe in the middle of the bundle of rods, but the bundle of rods is the important part, the fasces themselves, yeah. Which best-selling business book, first published in 1958, has the subtitle The Pursuit of Progress?
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Not that one, no. No guesses. Nope, nothing coming up. It was Parkinson's Law by C. Northcote Parkinson. And these are the scores at the end of that round. Phil Small and Alan Hodgson, 4 each. Dave McBRYAN now 8, KARL WHELAN 10. Now, Alan Hodgson, time for a question with music for you. And November 2021 marks 30 years since the death of Freddie Mercury, who would also have been 75 this autumn. Here, in the opening lyrics and melody of the hit song It's a Hard Life, Mercury pays tribute to an Italian opera. Can you tell me which one?
Tosca.
No. Phil Small?
Ida.
No. KARL WHELAN?
Martin Butterfly.
No. No more guesses. It was I Pagliacci by Ruggero Leoncavallo. Dave McBRYAN, which physicist born in Budapest in 1908 is often described as the father of the hydrogen bomb, although he reputedly didn't like the title.
Teller, no, it's the other guy who collaborated with him. But,
Sorry?
Teller?
Yes?
Oh, it was. Okay,
It was,
sorry.
yes.
I thought it was his colleague. Sorry.
I'm glad you gave that answer because it was right. No. Can't imagine why you didn't like the name, can you? In 1962, who became the first female winner of the BBC's Sports Personality of the Year award?
Dorothy Hyman?
No. Phil Small.
Anita Lonsborough.
Anita Lonsborough, the Olympic gold medal winning swimmer, yes. Phil Small, your question. The name of which type of explosive is partly derived from the name of a village in eastern Bohemia where it's manufactured?
Semtex.
Yes, because it combines the first 4 letters of Semtin in the Czech Republic with the first 2 letters of the manufacturer Explosia AS, which is based there. In the USA, a second-year university student is known as a sophomore, a word combined from 2 Greek words, sophos, meaning wise, and moros, meaning what?
Second.
No. KARL WHELAN?
Student.
No. Yes, Dave McBRYAN?
Just old?
No. No more, no. It's the opposite, it's foolish. Yes, the description of a university student as a wise fool is one upon which I make no comment, since I can scarcely remember being one. KARL WHELAN, who was Archbishop of Canterbury at the time of the 1936 abdication crisis?
Lang.
Cosmo Gordon Lang, yes, widely accused of making uncharitable remarks about the just departed Edward VIII. Which European country has a national anthem that includes words which translate as, I was born a princess, a maiden neutral between 2 nations?
Belgium.
No. Phil Small.
Andorra.
Andorra, properly speaking, the Principality of Andorra, squeezed between France and Spain. End of another round. And here are the scores. Alan Hodgson now 4, Phil Small 7, Dave McBRYAN 9, and KARL WHELAN 11. There's nobody in that list who can't be caught. So let's pause our final for a couple of minutes as we take the traditional breather at the halfway point and give our finalists a chance to confer and work as a team. The outgoing champion Graham Barker, who won the title on this very stage last autumn, has supplied the questions for you to ponder today. Please chew them over and pool your knowledge. The listeners have been victorious every week in this series so far, but it's surely tougher to beat the brains in the final than any other point. See what you make of Graham's first question. Over the years, many British Conservative Prime Ministers' children have followed them into politics and become members of Parliament. But only one Conservative Prime Minister had a son who sat as a Labour member. Who was that?
Would it be early 20th century?
Yeah, I mean, I guess either late 19th or early 20th.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So, I mean...
Someone like Bona Law, something like that. Baldwin.
I'm reading a book on Bonner at the moment. I don't think his lad was couldn't make a fool of himself now, but I really don't think that is
Yeah, I don't know.
it could be Balfour.
Lord Salisbury.
But Balfour's not a bad shirt.
Balfour? Yeah, Balfour sounds like a fit with the pop.
All right, we try it? Balfour?
No. You touched on it. Stanley Baldwin, yes, whose son Oliver Baldwin, also known as Viscount Corvedale, served 2 terms as a Labour MP for Dudley and later for Paisley between 1929 and 1947. A journalist, soldier and socialist, for a time he and his father actually faced one another on opposite sides of the Commons benches. Well, here's Graham Barker's second question. Since the Norman conquest, only one person was ever crowned King of England during the reign of his father. Who was that?
It'd be Henry the Young King, isn't it?
Which one's that?
Henry the Young King. He didn't get given a second regnal number, but he was crowned jointly. Well, I can't remember with which Henry it was, but he crowned his son jointly as Henry the Young King, and the son predeceased him, so he never reigned on his own. So he never had his own regnal number, but he was technically a king.
Oh, right.
I can't honestly remember which Henry this was, but there's definitely Henry.
So we're looking for the son?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay, sounds good then.
So they're asking for crowned while the father was still alive?
During the reign of his
Or during the
father.
reign of... Yeah. I think it has to be the Young King, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, go on.
Was it Henry the Young King?
Who would be the son of whom?
Now this is the bit I was hoping you didn't ask us to specify.
It's a long time ago, right?
Is it Henry III?
I don't even...
No, I won't let you spoil it, because Henry the Young King is absolutely the right answer, but he was the son of Henry II. Yes. And in a way, this is a trick question, because young Henry was designated his father's successor and crowned in 1170 during his father's lifetime in the tradition of the French royal court at the time. But he never actually became king, because he died of dysentery in France at the age of 28, before his father. So when Henry II eventually died, it was his younger son, Richard, who took the throne as Richard I. But it remains true that the young Henry was crowned king. Well done. But thank you, Graham, for your questions. Well done on stumping the mighty brains with your first one, anyway. We'll be sending you your book voucher prize, along with our congratulations once again on your victory last year. Because of the pandemic, you were cheated of a genuine round of applause from an audience on that occasion. So please do revel in this one. Thank you, and well done. We may not be on air for another 8 months or so, but we're very happy to receive your question ideas if you'd like to try and beat the brains in a future programme. Keep them coming whenever you like, using the email address brainofbritain@bbc.co.uk, or, if you prefer paper and envelope, to BBC Brain of Britain, Dock House, Media City, UK, Salford, M50 2LH. Let's return to the tension of the final contest, with the scores at this stage quite close. If you all have your fingers back on your buttons, we'll start the round with you, Alan Hodgson. Based on population count, which is the 3rd largest city in Wales after Cardiff and Swansea?
Newport.
It is. Which type of silk fabric with a rough finish takes its name from the Chinese province where it was originally made? Out of time. KARL WHELAN?
Nankeen.
No. Phil Small?
Chiffon?
No. No. Yes, Dave McBRYAN?
Hainan.
No. No, it was Shantung, or Shandong as we have it now, but Shantung is the name of the fabric. Dave McBRYAN, music for you. And you're about to hear Herman's Hermits with their American #1, Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter. Can you tell me the connection between this song and one of the cast of the TV sitcom The Vicar of Dibley?
Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter. Girls as sharp as her are something rare. But it's sad, she doesn't love me now. She's made it clear enough, it ain't no good to pine.
I don't know, was the son of one of Herman's hermits in Vicar W?
No. Alan Hodgson?
Did Trevor Peacock write it?
Are you telling me?
Well, I'll tell you then, yeah.
Yes, I'm glad you've put it like that. Yes, the song was written by Trevor Peacock, who played the eccentric Jim Trott in the Vicar of Dibley. Trevor Peacock died in March 2021. For some reason, Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter was never issued as a single in the UK, but it says something about the popularity of Herman's Hermits in America, that on its first week of release, it became the highest new entry ever in the US Top 100 to that date. Phil Small, in 1782, which romantic poet married Catherine Boucher, a London market gardener's daughter?
Keats.
No. KARL WHELAN?
Coleridge?
No. Dave McBRYAN?
Byron?
No. Yes, Alan Hodgson?
Southey?
No, it was William Blake. She remained Blake's lifelong companion and played an important role in preparing his printed texts and illuminations. KARL WHELAN, the Latin phrase quo vadis, uttered in the Bible by the Apostle Peter to the risen Christ, means what?
Where now?
No. Phil Small?
Who gazed there?
No. Alan Hodgson?
Where are you going?
Where are you going exactly? Yes. It became, of course, the title of a classic film of 1951. End of a round. Scores now, Phil Small and Alan Hodgson 7 each, Dave McBRYAN 9, KARL WHELAN 11. So things are closing up again. And with things coming together in that way, I have to tell you that this is the final round of the contest, gentlemen. Alan Hodgson, your question. Thought to be by an artist named John Taylor, the first painting acquired by the National Portrait Gallery on its founding in 1856 was a picture of whom?
The Duke of Wellington?
No. Phil Small?
William Shakespeare.
Yes, it's known as the Chandos portrait, and it's the only Shakespeare portrait that may have been painted from life. Dave McBRYAN, which 12th century queen consort is the only woman to have married a king of England and a king of France?
Eleanor of Aquitaine.
Yes, she married Louis VII of France and Henry II of England. The Empire Polo Club in Indio, California, is the venue for which annual music and arts festival that began in 1999?
Lollapalooza?
No. I think this one has got you, has it? Yes, it's the Coachella Valley Festival. Coachella Valley Festival. Now, Phil Small, it's time for more music. 2021 has marked the centenary of the birth of the great jazz musician and broadcaster Humphrey Lyttelton, a hero within these four walls at the Radio Theatre. Here's his only real chart hit, which, as he said, staggered up to number 19 and fell back exhausted. From 1956, that was the famous Bad Penny Blues, an obvious influence on Paul McCartney's Lady Madonna. But it wasn't meant to sound like that, and Humph didn't like it, with the piano thundering away in the foreground. That was the work of a junior engineer who took away the tapes and played about with them. He later became a famous independent producer in his own right. Who was he?
Malcolm McLaren.
No. KARL WHELAN?
George Martin?
No. Any more? Yes, Dave McBRYAN.
Lang.
No. No more tries, no. It was Joe Meek, an ultimately tragic figure. George Martin was head of A&R at the time, but he was not involved at all in the making of that recording. KARL WHELAN, which French tennis player won 8 Grand Slam singles titles in women's tennis between 1919 and 1926?
Suzanne Lenglen.
Yeah. In Gaelic, if the word darach means oak, what type of bird is a snagan darach?
Magpie.
No. Alan Hodgson.
Woodpecker?
Yes. Specifically, perhaps a greater spotted woodpecker, but woodpecker would do. It means little creeping one of oak. Which brings us to the end of the Brain of Britain final for 2021, and the result is as follows. Phil Small and Alan Hodgson, 8 points each. Dave McBRYAN, 10 points. KARL WHELAN, 12. So our 68th Reign of Britain champion is KARL WHELAN. Congratulations from us all. I'd love to present you with the trophy, but the correct and distanced thing to do would be for you to stride forth and collect it yourself, if you will, from its spotlit lectern over here.
Oh, thanks very much.
Well, it was a tightly fought contest and an excellent season for Brain of Britain overall. If that had gone on another couple of rounds, who knows? But anyway, I know I said this last year, but we must hope that the next series can be conducted under something much more akin to normal conditions. Thank you to all 48 of our contenders this season, and especially to our other 3 finalists here today who did so well. If you've been inspired to have a go at Brain of Britain in 2022, it'd be lovely to hear from you. All you have to do is email brainofbritain@bbc.co.uk requesting an application form. Until the 2022 season of Brain of Britain gets underway next summer, thank you for listening, and from our new champion, KARL WHELAN, and all of us here, goodbye.